All right, guys, let's continue on with Antigone. Might be Antigone, honestly. So the guards escort Antigone and Ismene into the palace. Creon remains while the old citizens form their chorus. So the chorus. Blessed, they are the truly blessed who all their lives have never tasted devastation. For others, once the gods have rocked a house to its foundations, the ruin will never cease, cresting on and on from one generation on throughout the race, like a great mounting tide driven on by savage northern gales, surging over the dead black depths, roiling up from the bottom dark heaves of sand. And the headlands, taking the storm's onslaught full force, roar, and the low moaning echoes on and on. And now, as in ancient times, I see the sorrows of the house, the living heirs of the old ancestral kings, piling on the sorrows of the dead. And one generation cannot free the next. Some god will bring them crashing down. The race finds no release, and now the light, the hope springing up from the late last root in the house of Oedipus, that hope's cut down and turned by the long bloody knife swung by the gods of death, by a senseless sword, by fury at the heart. So like Oedipus's family just has a curse on the lineage or something. The chorus continues, Zeus, yours is the power. Zeus, what man on earth can override it? Who can hold it back? Power that neither sleep, the all-ensnaring no, nor the tireless months of heaven can ever overmaster. Young through all time, mighty Lord of power, you hold fast the dazzling crystal mansions of Olympus. And throughout the future, latent soon as through the past, your law prevails. No towering form of greatness enters into the lives of mortals free and clear of ruin. True, our dreams, our high hopes voyaging far and wide bring sheer delight to many others delusion blithe, mindless lust, and the fraud steals on one slowly, unaware till he trips and puts his foot into the fire. He was a wise old man who coined the famous saying, sooner or later, foul is fair, fair is foul to the man the gods will ruin. He goes his way for a moment only, free of blinding ruin. Enter Haemon from the palace. Remember Haemon, we found out is Antigone's husband. Here's Haemon now, continues the chorus, the last of all your sons. Does he come in tears for his bride, his doomed bride, Antigone, bitter at being cheated of their marriage? So the chorus is talking to Creon then, I guess, because he's about to respond right now. We'll soon know better than seers could tell us. Creon, turning to Haemon, son, you've heard the final verdict on your bride. Are you coming now, raving against your father? Or do you love me no matter what I do? Haemon, father, I'm your son. You and your wisdom set my bearings for me. I obey you. No marriage could ever mean more to me than you, whatever good direction you may offer. Oh, Haemon. Yeah, fuck Haemon. It's fine. So, chooses chooses father, chooses father over wife. Whatever good direction you may offer. So he's saying, I obey you. No marriage could ever mean more to me than you, whatever good direction you may offer. Creon responds to his son Aemon. Fine, Aemon, that's how you ought to feel within your heart, subordinate to your father's will in every way. That's what a man prays for, to produce good sons, a household full of them, dutiful and attentive, so they can pay his enemy back with interest and match the respect their father shows his friend. But the man who rears a brood of useless children, what has he brought into the world, I ask you? Nothing but trouble for himself and mockery from his enemies laughing in his face. That's crazy, huh? And when you bring bad children into the world. Oh, Amon, never lose your sense of judgment over a woman. The warmth, the rush of pleasure, it all goes cold in your arms, I warn you. A worthless woman in your house, a misery in your bed. What wound cuts deeper than a loved one turned against you? Spit her out like a mortal enemy. Let the girl go. Damn, so the warmth, the rush of pleasure, it all goes cold in your arms, I warn you. A worthless woman in your house, a misery in your bed. What wound cuts deeper than a loved one turned against you? Spit her out like a mortal enemy. Let the girl go. Let her find a husband down among the dead. Imagine it. I caught her in naked rebellion, the traitor, the only one in the whole city. I'm not about to prove myself a liar, not to my people. No, I'm going to kill her. That's right. So let her cry for mercy. Sing her hymns to Zeus, who defends all bonds of kindred blood. Why, if I bring on my own kin to be rebels, think what I'd suffer from the world at large. Show me the man who rules his household well. I'll show you someone fit to rule the state. It's kind of, I mean, it's like Sophocles is like talking truth on both sides. So I don't know. So that good man, my son, I have every confidence he and he alone can give commands and take them too. Staunch in the storm of spears, so stand his ground, a loyal, unflinching comrade at your side. But whoever steps out of line violates the laws or presumes to hand out orders to his superiors. He'll win no praise from me. But that man the city places in authority, his orders must be obeyed, large and small, right and wrong. Anarchy, show me a greater crime in all the earth. She destroys cities, rips up houses, breaks the ranks of spearmen into headlong rout. But the ones who lasted out, the great mass of them, owe their lives to discipline. Therefore, we must defend the men who live by the law. Never let some woman triumph over us. Better to fall from power, if fall we must, at the hands of a man. Never be rated inferior to a woman. Never. And that's sort of misogynistic, it kind of seems. So some guy named Leader. To us, unless old age has robbed us of our wits, you seem to say what you have to say with sense. Amon. Father, only the gods endow a man with reason, the finest of all their gifts, a treasure. Far be it from me, I haven't the skill and certainly no desire to tell you when, if ever, you make a slip in speech, though someone else might have a good suggestion. Of course, it's not for you, in the normal run of things, to watch whatever men say or do, or find to criticize. The man in the street you know dreads your glance. He never say anything displeasing to your face, but it's for me to catch the murmurs in the dark, the way the city mourns for this young girl. No woman, they say, ever deserved death less. So no woman, they say, ever deserved death less, and such a brutal death for such a glorious action. She with her own dear brother lying in his blood, she couldn't bear to leave him dead, unburied, food for the wild dogs or willing vultures. Death, she deserves a glowing crown of gold. So this is the gossip in the city. So they say, and the rumor spreads in secret, darkly. I rejoice in your success, father, nothing more precious to me in the world. What medal of honor brighter to his children than a father's growing glory, or a child's to his proud father? Now don't please be quite so single-minded, self-involved, or assume the world is wrong and you are right. Whoever thinks that he alone possesses intelligence, the gift of eloquence, he and no one else, and character too, such men, I tell you, spread them open, you will find them empty. No, it's no disgrace for a man, even a wise man, to learn many things and not to be too rigid. You've seen trees by a raging winter torrent, how many sway with the flood and salvage every twig, but not the stubborn, they're ripped out, roots and all. Bend or break, the same when a man is sailing. Haul your sheets too taut, never give an inch, you'll capsize, and go the rest of the voyage keel up in the rowing benches under. Oh, give way, relax your anger, change. I'm young, I know, but let me offer this. It would be best by far, I admit, if a man were born infallible, right by nature. If not, and things don't often go that way, it's best to learn from those with good advice. So infallible, like mistakeless, like perfect. It would have been best if man were born imperfect, or if man were born perfect, unable to make mistakes, right by nature. But if not, and things don't often go that way, it's best to learn from those with good advice. So his child, his son, Amon, is actually trying to speak some sense into him. Amon tries to get Creon to reconsider. So a leader chimes in. The leader is kind of like the devil's advocate right here, so to say. So leader, you do well, my lord, if he's speaking to the point, to learn from him. Well, I guess, okay, the leader is actually kind of agreeing with Amon. So the leader continues, turning to Amon, and you, my boy, from him, you both are talking sense. I agree. Creon's saying some legit stuff. So men our age. So Creon continues. So Creon responds. So men our age, we're to be lectured, are we? Schooled by a boy his age? Oh, he's being prideful right here. Pride right here. Pride. Pride. Damn. Pride right here. So Amon responds, only in what is right, but if I seem young, look less to my years and more to what I do. I thought so. Creon said, so men our age, were to be lectured, are we? Schooled by a boy his age? So Amon, only in what is right, but if I seem young, look less to my years and more to what I do. Creon responds to his son, do, is admiring rebels an achievement? Amon, I never suggest that you admire treason. Creon, oh, isn't that just the sickness that attacked her? Amon, the whole city of Thebes denies it to a man. Creon, and is Thebes about to tell me how to rule? Amon, now you see who's talking like a child. Creon, am I to rule this land for others or myself? Amon, it's no city at all, owned by one man alone. Creon, what? The city is the king's, that's the law. So Amon, what a splendid king you make of a desert island, you and you alone. Oh shit. So Creon to the chorus. This boy I do believe is fighting on her side, the woman's side. Amon, if you are a woman, yes, my concern is all for you. Creon, why, you degenerate, bandying accusations, threatening me with justice, your own father? Calls him a degenerate. Amon, I see my father offending justice, wrong. So Creon, wrong, to protect my royal rights? That guy's a fucking weirdo. He's not a weirdo, he's just annoying. So Creon, wrong, to protect my royal rights? Amon, protect your rights when you trample down the honors of the gods? Creon, you soul of corruption, rotten through, woman's accomplice. Amon, that may be, but you will never find me accomplice to a criminal. Creon, that's what she is, and every word you say is a blatant appeal for her. Amon, and you and me and the gods beneath the earth. Creon, you will never marry her, not while she's alive. Amon, then she will die, but her death will kill another. So Creon, what brazen threats? You go too far. Amon, what threat? Combating your empty, mindless judgments with a word? Creon, you'll suffer for your sermons, you and your empty wisdom. Amon, if you weren't my father, I'd say you were insane. Creon, don't flatter me with father, you woman slave. Amon, you really expect to fling abuse at me and not receive the same? Creon, is that so? Now by heaven I promise you, you'll pay, taunting, insulting me. Bring her out, that hateful. She'll die now, here in front of his eyes, beside her groom. Amon, no, no, she will never die beside me. Don't delude yourself, and you will never see me, never set eyes on my face again. Rage your heart out, rage with friends who can stand the sight of you. So Amon leaves, he's rushing out, and the leader chimes in. Leader, gone my king in a burst of anger, a temper young as his, hurt him once, he may do something violent. Creon, let him do, dream up something desperate, past all human limit. Good riddance, rest assured he'll never save those two young girls from death. Talking about Antigone and Ismene. So the leader, both of them, you really intend to kill them both? Creon, no, not her, the one whose hands are clean. You're quite right. So no, not her, the one whose hands are clean. You're quite right. Leader, but Antigone, what sort of death do you have in mind for her? Creon, I will take her down some wild, desolate path, never trod by men, and wall her up alive in a rocky vault, and set out short rations, just the measure piety demands to keep the entire city free of defilement. There let her pray to the one God she worships. Death, who knows, may just reprieve her from death, or she may learn at last, better late than never, what a waste of breath it is to worship death. Exit to the palace. So the chorus comes in to end this act. I guess this is the end of the act. So chorus. Love never conquered in battle. Love the plunderer laying waste the rich. Love standing the night watch, guarding a girl's soft cheek. You range the seas, the shepherd steadying off in the wilds. The shepherd steadyings off in the wilds. Not even the deathless gods can flee your onset. Nothing human born for a day. Whoever feels your grip is driven mad. Love, you wrench the minds of the righteous into outrage. Love, you wrench the minds of the righteous into outrage, swerve them to their ruin. You have ignited this kindred strife, father and son at war, and love alone the victor. Warm glance of the bride triumphant, burning with desire, throned in power side by side with the mighty laws, irresistible Aphrodite, never conquered. Love, you mock us for your sport. Antigone is brought from the palace under guard. And the chorus continues, but now even I would rebel against the king. I would break all bounds when I see this. I fill with tears, I cannot hold them back, not anymore. I see Antigone making her way to the bridal vault, where all are laid to rest. That was poetic. The chorus is just blaming love, just cursing love for what it does. This is funny. So Aphrodite never conquered, the god of love. God of love, yeah. I'm gonna continue, guys. Actually, so Antigone's brought in. So Antigone, look at me, men of my fatherland, setting out on the last road, looking into the last light of day, the last I will ever see. The god of death who puts us all to bed takes me down to the banks of Acheron, alive. Denied my part in the wedding songs. No wedding song in the dusk has crowned my marriage. I go to wed the lord of the dark waters. Chorus, not crowned with glory or with a dirge. You leave for the deep pit of the dead. No withering illness laid you low, no strokes of the sword. A law to yourself alone. No mortal like you ever, you go down to the halls of death, alive and breathing. Antigone, but think of Niobe. While I know her story, think what a living death she died. Tantalus's daughter, stranger queen from the east. There on the mountain heights growing stone, binding as ivy, slowly walled her round, and the rains will never cease. The legends say the snows will never leave her. Wasting away under her brows, the tears showering down her breasting ridge and slopes. A rocky death like hers puts me to sleep. That's crazy. So she just thinks about. She's like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Tantalus's daughter, Niobe. Niobe. It's a beautiful name. So is Antigone. So the chorus, but she was a god born of gods, and we are only mortals born to die. And yet, of course, it's a great thing for a dying girl to hear, even to hear she shares a destiny equal to the gods during life and later once she's dead. It's a great thing for a dying girl to hear, even to hear she's dying a destiny equal to the gods during life and later once she's dead. That's took the words right out of my mouth that she was didn't feel alone, you know? So Antigone, oh, you mock me. Why in the name of all my father's gods? Why can't you wait till I am gone? Must you abuse me to my face? Oh, my city, all your fine rich sons, and you springs of the Dirce, holy grove of Thebes, where the chariots gather, you at least, you'll bear me witness. Look, unmourned by friends and forced by such crude laws, I go to my rock-bound prison, strange new tomb, always a stranger, oh dear God, I have no home on earth and none below, not with the living, not with the breathless dead. Chorus, you went too far, the last limits of daring, smashing against the high throne of justice. Your life's in ruins, child. I wonder, do you pay for your father's terrible ordeal? Like the sins of the father, you know? This is interesting right here. So you went too far, the last limits of daring, smashing against the high throne of justice. So you're saying, like, dude, you didn't listen to the decree from the king. So Antigone, there, at last you've touched it, the worst pain, the worst anguish, raking up the grief for father 3 times over, for all the doom that struck us down, the brilliant house of Laius. Oh, mother, your marriage bed, the coiling horrors, the coupling there. You with your own son, my father, doom-struck mother. Such were my parents and I, their wretched child. I go to them now, cursed, unwed, to share their home. I am a stranger. Oh, dear brother, doomed in your marriage. Your marriage murders mine. Your dying drags me down to death alive. That's crazy because her mother's son, they had a baby together. And so that Oedipus is Antigone's brother. So right here she says it like so such were my parents and I their wretched child. I go to them now, cursed, unwed to share their home. I am a stranger, oh dear brother, doomed in your marriage. So her brother's her father. Doomed in your marriage murders mine. Your dying drags me down to death alive. That's funny. Yeah. Just I don't know. It's interesting. So enter Creon. Enter Creon. Chorus. Reverence asks some reverence in return, but attacks on power never go unchecked. Not by the man who holds the reins of power. Your own blind will, your passion has destroyed you. Antigone. No one to weep for me, my friends, no wedding song. They take me away in all my pain. The road lies open, waiting. Never again the law forbids me to see the sacred eye of day. I am agony. No tears for the destiny that's mine. No loved one mourns my death. Creon. Can't you see if a man could wail his own dirge before he dies, he never finish? To the guards. Take her away quickly, wall her up in the tomb. You have your orders, abandon her there alone, and let her choose death or a buried life for the good roof for shelter. As for myself, my hands are clean. This young girl, dead or alive, she will be stripped of her rights, her stranger's rights, here in the world above. Antigone, O tomb, my bridal bed, my house, my prison, cut in the hollow rock, my everlasting watch, I'll soon be there, soon embrace my own, the great growing family of our dead. Persephone has received among her ghosts. Yeah, so Persephone, yeah, she for about 9 months out of the year she lives in Hades. So that's what she brings Persephone, according to the Greek mythology. So the great growing family of our dead Persephone has received among her ghosts. I, the last of them all, the most reviled by far, go down before my destined times run out, but still I go, cherishing one good hope. My arrival may be dear to my father, dear to you, my mother, dear to you, my loving brother. Ediocles, when you died, I washed you with my hands. I dressed you all. I poured the sacred cups across your tombs. But now, Polynices, because I laid your body out as well, this is my reward. Nevertheless, I honored you. The decent will admit it, well and wisely too. Never, I tell you, if I had been the mother of children, or if my husband died, exposed and rotting, I never have taken this ordeal upon myself, never defied our people's will. What law, you ask, do I satisfy with what I say? A husband dead, there might have been another, a child by another too, if I had lost the first. But mother and father both lost. But mother and father both lost in the halls of death. No brother could ever spring to light again. uh, she continues, for this alone I held you first in honor, or for this law alone I held you first in honor. For this Creon, the king, judges me a criminal, guilty of dreadful outrage, my dear brother. And now he leads me off, a captive in his hands, with no part in the bridal song, the bridal bed, denied all joy of marriage, raising children, deserted so by loved ones, struck by fate, I descend alive to the caverns of the dead. What law of the mighty gods have I transgressed? Why look to the heavens any more, tormented as I am? Whom to call, what comrades now? Just think my reverence only brands me for irreverence. Very well, if this is the pleasure of the gods, once I suffer, I will know what I was wrong. Or very well, if this is the pleasure of the gods, once I suffer, I will know that I was wrong. But if these men are wrong, let them suffer, nothing worse than they mete out to me, these masters of injustice. The leader comes in. Still the same rough winds, the wild passion raging through the girl. So he's saying, he's funny. Still the same rough winds, the wild passion raging through the girl. It's funny. So just end of it. Jesus Christ. I think we'll stop it right there.